So the Concacaf Champions League finally got started on Tuesday. All of the first legs have been played. So let's recap and check to see how my predictions have held up. Let's get into it. So the first game saw the Portland Timbers visiting Honduran side Marathon. And Portland started off the game really well, lots of intensity, created good chances early on. And Eric Williamson in particular was very active and very instrumental in creating chances from the middle, and even got a good shot on target himself. But Marathon's keeper did keep it out and really did well for as much and as hard as he was tested early on. Finally, though, when the Timbers did get a goal, they immediately dropped off, and that gave Marathon the chance to equalize, which they did very quickly, actually, about 4 minutes after conceding. And the second half basically went the same way. The Timbers scored first, only to then concede the equalizer. Game ended tied at 2-2, which definitely still favors Portland, as they now have two crucial away goals, making it that much easier for them to advance to the next round. So far, looking pretty good for my prediction that the Timbers would be the team to advance. Now, this next game was the most anticipated one for me. It was Atlanta United visiting a Costa Rican team, Alajuelense. Now, this was crazy CONCACAF at it again, as this was one of the most wild and entertaining matches as expected. This one did not disappoint. Despite playing away, Atlanta really didn't shy away from taking the game to the hosts and really played offensively, ate up most of the possession, especially early on. But with under 5 minutes to go in the first half, what happens? The Atlanta goalkeeper comes running out of his box, something he had to do several times actually, in order to try to win the ball from an attacker. But he gets there way too late, hits the player, and gets himself ejected from the game. So Atlanta has to sub out another player and bring on 18-year-old Rocco Rios Novo, who was with them on a short-term loan. And honestly, he played very well, having to come up with some pretty big saves, and despite being so young, really looked to hold his own. And then, just a few minutes into the second half, Atlanta United get a penalty from what initially looked like a handball, but honestly, upon closer view from the replay, it actually looks like it hits the defender's face. So, in retrospect, probably shouldn't have gotten the penalty, but hey, Atlanta will take it, and why not, as it proved to be the winner. Now, of course, we all wanted to see how players like Miles Robinson and George Bello played, as they were denied from going to the Olympic qualifiers specifically to help out in this game. And overall, they really did play well. Bello made more mistakes and struggled a bit, and Robinson did too at first. But then he really came into the game and even made a very big diving tackle to stop a player from getting a shot and potential equalizer. Very good work from him. That said, throughout the game, there were times where Atlanta defense just switched off and allowed the Alajuelense to cut through way too easily. So that's something that Hines is definitely going to want to work on. Either way, Atlanta picked up a crucial win away, so this is looking very good for my prediction that they would be the team to make it through. In fact, in that video, that my prediction video that I did say that Atlanta could pick up a crucial away goal, and that's exactly what they did. Now, this one was a bit surprising for me, mostly because I was expecting Cruz Azul to actually get a win here, but despite them taking almost all of the possession, Arcahaie really managed to fend them off and defended quite well, and their goalkeeper came up with some pretty big saves. Cruz Azul did end up getting 11 shots off, but only two were on target. There was one howler from outside the box that had the keeper beat, but it just hit the post. And Arque really just defended in their own half for most of the game, rarely challenging Cruz Azul. And even when they did manage to get into the attacking third, nothing really came of it. And they didn't even manage a single shot on target. But they can still be commended for some solid defending that kept Cruz Azul at bay. The game ended at a 0-0 draw. Now, apart from the Atlanta game, this was my other most anticipated game of the round of 16. And it didn't disappoint. Philly also started this game really well, really kept challenging Saprissa and knocking on the door, and I was surprised by how much Saprissa seemed out of control and couldn't keep possession. That really allowed Philly to take control of the game. So it really wasn't surprising that by the 34th minute, Philly managed to get the goal. It was from a great cross from the right and a thundering header by Shavilko. He made a good run into the box and was completely unmarked by the Saprissa defense. Was wide open right in front of goal, and of course, he put it away, as he would be expected to from that distance. Now, after that, the Saprissa defense did improve and they hunkered down a bit and made things difficult for the Union. In the second half, both sides had some chances, but Saprissa did have some that they really should have been able to put away. But there was one really good header from a set piece that would have been a goal if not for a fantastic goal line clearance by a Union defender. But of course, as this is CONCACAF, the shenanigans didn't end there. Right at the end of the game, there was some more drama due to a late tackle, this time from a Saprissa player, sent a Union defender flying through the air and led to a bit of a scuffle between the two teams that had coaches and bench players all involved. It was a mess, but an entertaining mess nonetheless. After that, the game ended 1-0 for the Union. Big win for them away from home as well. So once again, looking pretty good for my prediction. Toronto really started the game well, getting a good chance in the first 30 seconds from a wide open header from Altidore that he somehow hit directly at the goalkeeper. Now, that Leon defense was sliced through very easily, which surprised me, and honestly, I think even surprised them as well. But Toronto could not keep up the same intensity. In fact, both of their biggest chances and only shots on target came within the opening 5 minutes. But after that, Leon was able to calm down, regain control of the game, and of course, they were rewarded with an absolute golazo from Fernando Navarro. He gets a lob pass right outside the box. He sees the ball come in all the way, and with his first touch on his right foot, he just curves it past the goalkeeper and into that top right corner. Beautiful goal. And Leon remained very much in control and actually looked like they would get their second. And in a way, they did. It just went the wrong way. Yes, at the 15th minute, the Leon defender, Andres Mosquera, accidentally hits it back into his own net. Now, he was trying to react after another defender lost the ball in a dangerous position, so not necessarily his fault. He sees the pass coming into Altidore, so of course he tries his best to intercept, but in doing so, he hits it high over his own keeper and went in. So very disappointing for Leon, who again, up until that point, were dominating. And honestly, even despite that, they still continued to attack Toronto and almost found the winner. But the game ended draw at 1-1, both goals coming from Leon. So with that, Toronto are very much still able to make it through, as they now have a big away goal that can prove to be a difference maker. Now, if they are just a little bit more clinical and Leon continue to shoot themselves in the foot, then yeah, Toronto could make it through, which would be terrible for my prediction, but hey, good for them. Honestly, no real surprises here. First half was all America, with the one exception of a big chance for Olympia that saw striker Ezequiel Aguirre 1v1 with Ochoa after a defensive mistake by America, but he put it just wide. After that, America got both of their goals, a header by Federico Viñas and a superb strike from Sergio Diaz a little later. And honestly, Olympia were very lucky it was the end of the first half because America had the momentum and looked to score more. But in the second half, America did drop off a bit. They looked very comfortable with their 2 goal lead, but credit to Olympia who were able to get that consolation goal at the end. Of course, it was too little too late, and America won 2-1. This game started very intense for both sides. It was pretty back and forth for the opening 10 minutes, but then Columbus was able to break through and get their first goal. That's first of eventual 4 goals, all in the first half. That's right, they got 3 more goals after that. One by defender Jonathan Mensah on a set piece. Doesn't hit it very good, and it happens to bounce off the ground over a defender and the goalkeeper, but still went in. Another goal by Zardes, and then a penalty that was given for handball by a Real defender. Pedro Santos was the one who took the penalty and converted to give the crew a 4 goal advantage just before halftime. Now, was the defending good by Real Esteli? No, not at all. In fact, I was quite surprised by just how poor they were, but they were looking good up until that first goal. So from there, they just collapsed. Demoralized and unmotivated, and honestly, didn't offer much in the second half either. The game ended same as the half, 4-0 for the crew. No other team won by a bigger margin, so definitely no way for them not to go through to the next round. Just as I predicted, I might add. And right after the game that gave us the biggest margin, we got the one that gave us the second biggest, as Monterrey dominated Dominican side Atletico Pantoja. Now, at first, Monterrey did struggle to break them down as they were playing deep and defended for their lives, but that still wasn't enough. Monterrey broke through at the 32nd minute. And despite being a goal down, Atletico never really tried to challenge Monterrey. They just kept sitting back and waiting to strike on the counter, but didn't work out for them as they only registered 2 shots on target and Monterrey got 2 more goals. A header by Arturo Gonzalez and then a great strike from distance by Jose Alvarado. 3-0 for Monterrey. This looks to be my only definitive wrong prediction as I did choose Atletico to make it through. Though in my defense, I did say that it was highly unlikely and I just really wanted at least one non-MLS and or Mexican team to make it through. But it doesn't look like that will be Atletico Pantoja. So guys, that was the first leg of the round of 16 recap. Everything is going more or less as I expected. Yeah, it looks like I got that last one wrong, but hey, 7 out of 8 ain't bad at all. All right, guys, let me know what you all thought about the first leg games and who do you expect to make it through. Thanks for watching. This is American Soccer United, the place where American soccer fans unite.